Hey, welcome back to the Shade Tree for yet another exciting venture working on the old 55 Willys wagon. Last go around we cut all the bad metal out, got our floor pans in, went over it with some rust reformer. I went through and wire wheeled all this part of this decking here all the way up to the middle of the wheel wells almost. Hit it with some rust reformer. We left off working on these old fenders. Ran out of new metal, but what we do have at our disposal is S10 parts. We got the hood, which I think we can harvest enough metal out of this to finish our front fenders, I'm hoping. So the plan for this go around is to harvest the metal from that hood to finish these fenders. Also want to start working on the Jeep hood. We've got a lot of metal working to do on this. You can see here where it's wavy like an ocean. Did some work on our battery box, or battery holder, I guess. Had it cleaned up, painted white. When we get ready to install that, it'll be ready to go. Because this is a budget build, we paid up for the emerald green metallic, but what we're going to use for white, and don't be surprised at this, a Rust-Oleum gloss white enamel. Yes, sir, we are. The whole top of this Jeep is going to be Rust-Oleum white. It's going to look good, trust me. Do the bottom half with the emerald green. I think it'll look sharp. We'll accent all the rest of the stuff with wood. Maybe some nice oak wood. That's the plan anyway. This dashboard is not removable. It's welded in there. So I'm going to paint this green as well as our steering column. Another task that we have to do. It's in pretty bad shape as far as the rust goes, as you can see. We got some holes to fill, and we have some oil canning. I think I showed you that in earlier videos. But this will have to all get wire wheeled down, and we're going to rust reform it. I'm feeling a little more ambitious than usual, so let's just see how much we can get done this go around. Well, to get things started again this week, we're back on the fenders, unfortunately. There's like a ton of work to do on these things, so if I got to do it, you got to watch it. Been beating on this thing for quite a while. I don't believe I'm going to get this out. This was like a creased. And as you get most of the divot out of this, it came up here. Still a little bit here. See the rear part of this? There was a big crease there and there. I got them worked out somewhat. Like I said, whatever I can't work out of this thing, Bondo will take care of the rest. I know that a lot of people frown on that, but you can see the fenders, fellas. All right, well, we are fitting much better here. The only part that is not really responding well is this one right here. It seems like when I get that back part settled where it needs to be. This part kicks forward, and I don't know, but I don't think there's supposed to be a big gap there. You can see that it's a very tight fit. I think this crease right here is really messing things up. I can't get that kink totally out of there. I'm going to say that it fits overall better than it did. All right, I think it's about time to harvest the metal from our S10 hood to finish our fenders. Is it going to work? Don't know. Let's find out. I'm going to say that this is probably 20 gauge, maybe 22. I don't know. It's definitely not 18 though. Let me get that other side off and we'll start figuring how to do this. All right, we have successfully harvested both sides of our hood. Got some good sheet metal now. Cleaned all the goo off it. And voila, we have free metal. Well, I say it's free. It's not really free because we paid for the S10. But we did use up a cutting wheel in the process. So sometimes if you don't want your budget to turn into a runaway train, you got to do stuff like this. And our budget is slowly turning into a runaway train, but I got to pull the reins back on it. So we got a whole S10 out back that we can scavenge supplies from, let's say. So I guess the next step is to, I think our best bet is to make a cardboard pattern. Then we can transfer the cardboard onto the metal. And then I want to reiterate that I am not a metal worker by any stretch of the imagination. So we're going to do our best with this. We need a lip of 2.5 inches, it looks like, and like a 1/2 inch curl under. We want to do a 1/2 inch and then 2.5 inches. All right, this is what I came up with. We're going 2 inches under. Okay. The only thing we have to do now is the hard part, which is making this curve back in. If we get our picture, I'm going to guesstimate this, that it starts to curve right away. I mean, just a gradual thing. When you're looking at a picture and you have no real dimensions to go by, makes it even more difficult because I'm just going to guess that this is a gradual thing here. It may look the part, but you know, if you're a true Jeep connoisseur, you'll probably know that this is a cabulated mess. But it'll be a good looking cabulated mess. All right, guys, I just had free-handed this, so this is where it's going to get interesting right here. Trying to put a 90-degree bend in that. I'm going to have to put a whole lot of relief cuts in, I'm thinking. It ain't going to be pretty, but we got to do what we got to do to make this look somewhat decent. So let me get this pattern where it needs to be, and we'll get it transferred onto the metal, and then we'll let the debauchery begin. All right, I've kind of put together a kind of a 3D rendering in cardboard of what this thing was probably supposed to do. This thing is going to fit on here like this. Something like that. So now we just have to transfer that to metal and figure out how to cut it and bend it. Okay, we got the sheet metal cut out, and I got a series of relief cuts in there. So I was able to bend it sort of the way it's supposed to be. As soon as we get our metal shaped on the top here, we'll go ahead and weld these. We'll tack weld these on, and then we'll weld them all together so that it's one solid piece. Get the dolly and the hammer and try to make this a little more defined, if you will. And then we'll get these bends in here, and then we'll test fit it. Okay, we got our preliminary test fit on. That's what you want to call it. I don't know that it's perfect, but I think it's a good start. I started tacking in all the relief cuts that I made. I think all in all, working from a picture, it's not too bad. I put a relief cut here to start that swoop up. Just about on our mark here. I don't know, guys. I think we're going to run with that. I don't think we're going to get much closer than that. We'll get it all straightened out, of course, but I'm going to say that we successfully recreated the 55 Willys wagon fender. We'll call that another small win. Now I just got to recreate it on the other side. All right, we are back at it again today. Left off recreating our 55 Willys fenders, and I said that we successfully recreated the 55 Willys fenders. Let me rephrase that. We successfully recreated my interpretation of a 1955 Willys fender. Okay, that's what I should have said. But I went ahead and started the passenger side. There's a little more material on this one because we were missing a lot of it on the bottom of that fender. So we had to actually extend this one up higher. I got it just about ready to weld up. So the next step after that is to pop these fenders off, cut them where they need to be joined, weld them together, finish massaging them out, and bolt them back on here for good. I remembered what these brackets were for now. I'm pretty sure that these were like the battery box, the old battery box that was in here was mounted here. I'm kind of thinking that that's what these were for, but we're going to repurpose these into our braces. We're going to mount these to the frame and use them as support underneath our fender extensions. Let me just get under there and show you what I mean. I've got these things. These are leftover pieces from the redneck body lift jacks that we bought. These things have come in real handy. I'm glad that we have them because it's perfect for what we need right now. We're going to mount it from this old body mount location onto the frame, and this piece here will get welded on there. That'll work as a good support mount. We'll get those pieces cleaned up, welded together, mounted on the frame so that when we put the fender back on for the last time, hopefully, it'll already have its bracket in place and we can just bolt it on. Okay, so we got our brace built, tacked together. We have the option to either weld to the frame or bolt it to the frame. I'm thinking maybe we should bolt it because, you know, if the thing ever has to come off for whatever reason, somebody wants to take it apart and do it right, maybe, I don't know. But I think that'll work for us. I'm going to go ahead and make another one for the other side. We'll get them bolted into place, then we can get these fenders off, get them cut where they need to be cut, and weld the new pieces on. And hopefully, when we put it back together, it'll all fit. Yeah. Alright, so both brackets are fabricated and in place. There's the passenger side. Pull them back out of there, clean them up, paint them up, reinstall them. Now we can go ahead and pull these fenders off, get them cut and welded, and hopefully get this thing put back together for the last time. We've got a little more massaging to do on this driver's side fender. Passenger side fender isn't looking too bad. A little bit of an alignment issue there. We've got some splits to weld up, some holes to weld up. Not as bad as the driver's side, but I think after that, I think we're going to start tackling this hood. I don't think we're going to get as much done as I thought we would this time around, but we're going to keep at it. Okay, we got her all stitched together, ground down. It fits pretty good. I worked on this area again some more. I really there's a little bit of a hump right there we got to try to get out. I've done everything I could to get this wrinkle out of here, but we're just gonna have to let filler do its job. Yeah, right there we can come up a little bit. That should pull that up higher. I got the it's not concave anymore. You can still see where the crease was, or where the creases are, I guess I should say. I don't think I'm going to get it worked out any better than I did. I'm going to try to work with the fitment a little bit more and see if we can't get that just a little bit tighter. Alright, I've been messing with this thing for quite a while. I finally got some fasteners in it. We're looking good across the top. Down the side, pretty good. We got it bolted on the bottom. Our bracket in place. There are a few fitment issues that I'm just not able to work out, fellas. I mean, you've seen this fender before I started, so I mean, there's a point where it has to be good enough. So I think we've reached that point where I've tugged and pulled and tried to straighten the best I could on it. I guess we're gonna have to live with the fact that it's just gonna have some slight fitment issues. Given the condition of this thing, I guess we're just gonna have to deal with it. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and start the bondoing process. We got all the major dents, dings, splits, everything welded together. I massaged it out as best I could with the tools I have anyway. If I had a planishing hammer or something like that, maybe I could do better, but we got hand tools, that's what we got, so that's what we're working with. So let me go ahead and throw some mud on this thing and see what it looks like. So I've been slinging Bondo for a little while. I'm trying to contour this thing. It don't look too bad. There are some low areas here and a little bit here, but all in all, I think we got most of the ugliness out of it. A little more work to do here. I'll just keep massaging this till we get it to look, you know, decent. It don't look too bad right now. I mean, there's a little more contouring to do as far as that goes. I think this section here on the bottom, if I had to do it again, I would have made it a little bit thinner. It looks a little thick to me. So what we got going on and what the picture's showing us, it's not too far off. The picture's at kind of a funky angle. This kind of looks, this section here looks a little thick to me right there, but it's hard to really tell from this angle on it. Got the fitment the best we could here. It's bolted in. The bolt holes lined up, so I mean, I'm kind of thinking this thing got hit on this side at one time. It's one of them things where it is what it is, you know what I mean? So we straightened it out the best we could, and I guess tomorrow we'll be working on the other side, and maybe we'll get to this hood this week. I don't know, we'll have to see, but I think I may have bit off a little more than I could chew this week. I know I said I was ambitious, but this really has worn me out trying to get this thing right. These fenders are a lot more work than I thought they were going to be. So we'll get back at it again tomorrow. Alright, so yesterday we left off on this fender, starting to sling Bondo, started contouring it, and what I mean by contouring is sanding and cheese grating with the old cheese grater. I should mention I hate sanding, whether it's wood, drywall, whatever. I hate sanding, but it's got to be done. So anyway, as you start to bring it down with the block, you can see all the imperfections, the high spots, the low spots. It's got a lot more Bondo in it than I'd like it to have, but there's really not much I can do about it, guys. I mean, you all saw it when I started, so we're just trying to get it to look halfway decent. So I guess today I'll put another skim on this, and while this is drying, I think we might start on that hood. Let's see if we can't get it somewhat straightened out, and maybe wire wheel it down and do something with it. Alright, we got a hood laid out with the old hinges bolted in on this side. It's all ripped out on this side. We have a little bit of rot over here, and you can see just how rusty it is. I made a template because it looks to me, this side looks normal, this side looks bent out. So I went and made a little template to show how much we are out. Yeah, we're way off. I was thinking maybe putting a ratchet strap around this and draw it in. My only concern was bending this one out of shape while we're trying to bend this one into shape. So I think we're going to give that a try. See if If it starts to bend this side, we'll just stop. Well, fellas, I don't think this is working. You can see it's kinked right here. I think what we're going to have to do is just take this thing apart and basically start from scratch. Try to fix that kink that's in it, clean up the metal, put it back on. I mean, there's a week's worth of work right there just working on this hood. Yep, I definitely believe this one probably should have stayed in the pasture. Using the vise has gotten it a lot closer. I mean, it's a lot closer than it was, I'll put it that way. Alright, we got it clamped in place over there. You can see actually how far we moved it. So we moved it over about an inch. So I think that we're going to have to call that good enough. We do have to make a repair here. I kind of think we just put a solid plate on there and get the one side bolted in, and then we can run some heavy self tappers up on the other side. I mean, I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get that far, I guess. Alright, we got the underside of this wire wheeled and rust reformed, so I think we ought to go ahead and put some paint strip around here and get this paint stripped off. We got her all stripped down, somewhat. I think it would have been easier to get a couple of 40 grit discs and do it that way. I got about an hour and a half into scraping paint. Oh well. So I'm looking at these holes here. That's what used to be there, right there, 4-wheel drive. We're not going to need that anymore because we are no longer 4-wheel drive. So I guess we're filling those holes. There's a hole here. I don't know if there was something on there. Not really sure. Got these these old handles were. We're going to fill those holes. And just going to go ahead and spruce this thing up. Get it sanded down and primed. Well, we did not get as much done as I thought we would get done this time around, but I will say that we did successfully recreate my interpretation of a Willys fender. Still a lot of mud work to do, as you can imagine. We have the hood stripped down. I still haven't put the brace back in it yet, but we got the underside wire wheeled, rust reformed, flipped it over. We got the paint stripped off it. I went over it with 80 grit, threw some primer on it so you can better see what's going on with this hood. Right there, we got a lot of work to do on the lip of this. Those got to get welded up. We need a patch here. We got to weld these holes up, weld these holes up. I think I'm going to reuse these. I got new brackets, but we're going to pull these ones off and use these holes to mount the new the hood hold downs on there. These holes got to get welded up. I don't know what was there, but that's got to get welded up. Same thing on this side, patch down in the corner. But all in all, not too bad. A lot of body work, a ton of body work, but I knew that going in it was going to be a lot. We've got a lot of sanding to do, a lot of mudding to do, but we did prove that it is possible to recreate a fender from a picture. I still have to do the other side. I haven't really messed with the passenger side too much yet, but we'll get after that next week. So fellas, we still have a long ways to go. I was kind of hoping to have this thing done and kind of take it to a car show this summer, but we're in June already and it doesn't really look like it's going to happen. Possibly by August, hopefully, you know, we'll have this thing, you know, even if it's 3/4 of the way done, running and driving. You know, I might take, I don't like to really take anything to car shows and primer. That's just not my gig, but we'll see. We'll see. We got a lot of work to do, but as always, man, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you know anybody that'd be interested in this build, share the video with them. And until next time, man, take it easy.